Welcome to the Weather Shed. I'm your chief prognosticator, weather interpreter, veteran storm chaser, and lifelong Iowan Clarence Smith. And it is also Thirsty Thursday. We'll be going over the drought monitor here by the end of the video, so stick around. But first, we're going to take a look at our current conditions. Time is 5:42 p.m. Central Daylight Time, or if you prefer Zulu Universal Time Code, it is 22:42. Looking outside, well, you might see some clouds. We haven't seen that in a while. We've had pretty clear skies, pretty hot, pretty September-like weather. But looking at least probably through the weekend, expect partly to mostly cloudy skies for the state. Maybe with the exception of far northwest Iowa, you may not see as much. So, mixed in with the clouds, though, as we have had for the last several days, we're seeing smoke, hazy smoke from wildfires. It hasn't been mixing down to the surface too badly, so thankfully for those with asthma and health conditions, we aren't seeing it quite as badly. But let's take a look at current model for our near surface smoke density. And this is brought to you by the HRRR model. Our probably worst concentrations, which really in the scheme of things aren't too bad, are up there in northwest Iowa and also in southwest Iowa. But let's take a look. Sorry, I wasn't prepared. Shame on you, Clarence. We might get just a little bit of precipitation in eastern Iowa. The remnants of what is now Tropical Depression Francine is going to throw off a little bit of energy, a little bit of moisture our way throughout the day, Friday, and probably into Friday night. You can see this simulated radar reflectivity for the coming day. Now, that may not bring a whole lot of precipitation. We might see perhaps a pocket of 4/10 of an inch to half an inch, but I'm not expecting it to be widespread and probably pretty spotty with some of the stronger showers. Maybe a thunderstorm, but not expecting anything severe with this activity. All right, that brings us to the topic of moisture, and well, Iowa's starting to dry out again. We were doing so good. July, this map was white. There wasn't a speck of color on it. But so it is. We're returning to a dry pattern, very typical of this year, and honestly, the farmers probably prefer this for harvest and drying out those crops. And as is tradition here on Thirsty Thursday, we're going to crack open a cold one. And being mid-September here, we have our Oktoberfest from Sam Adams. Not a sponsor, by the way, but I do enjoy their hearty and smooth flavor. That's good stuff. One of my favorite beers of all time, to be honest. So how's this compare to last week? Well, it has gotten worse. You can see that we've filled in a bit here in north central Iowa, southwest Iowa, and then there's a new pocket here towards the middle of the state. Here we are currently, and last week the area is getting drier. Not technically in a drought. This yellow region is just considered abnormally dry, but this will be something to monitor through the coming months and winter. Looking at the long range, we're moving most likely back into a La Nina phase for the Pacific Ocean, which that's the state that things were in the prior few years where we were very dry. So hopefully that's not a sign of things to come. I'm not going to prognosticate too much at this point, but if I were a betting man, I would look at the coming year to probably be drier than normal. So that's a look at the drought monitor. Let's continue on with our lows tonight. Again, very similar to what we've been seeing, maybe a tad cooler. Lows generally around 60 to the upper 50s over much of the state. And then highs tomorrow, we're getting a little cooler, a little closer to average. We're still running probably about 3 to 5 degrees above normal, depending on where you are in the state, but temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 80s for the most part, with the exception of where we're going to see more of that precipitation and the effects of Francine down in southeast Iowa. And wind gust, not including any potential thunderstorm gust, generally pretty light. Again, these are the gusts, not the sustained wind speed for tomorrow. Our biggest wind gusts will probably be up there around into Siouxland. So I think that'll do it for today, September 12th, 2024. I appreciate all of you tuning in. Luckily, we didn't lose any subscribers on the last video, so very happy with that. But, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing yourself, hit the like button, and we'll be back with more weather. Thanks for watching.